Hey everybody, how you doing today? It is a wonderful, wonderful Saturday, and I have with me Mr. Reece Robbins of Frontline Gaming fame. And you know what, Reece, good guy, known him for many years, and he is a hothead. He loves the hot peppers. He said to me, John, I want to climb that pepper ladder with you. So I sent him a package of hot peppers. And Reece, how you doing, sir? Are you ready for this?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing great. I love spicy peppers. We already had a couple of them to get warmed up.
Yep, yep.
I wore my special motivational tank top.
Very
So
nice.
don't whip it
Cornflakes.
out.
I myself wore a nice little, shall we say, LVO shirt from the pub crawl from 2015, and it's a "Who's with me?" And that's where we are today. Reece, are you with me for some more hot peppers? And for our listeners, a quick behind the scenes. We're going to tear down the fourth wall real quick. Reece and I actually we've been talking for about 20 minutes or so, and we started eating some hot peppers. Just got into our conversation and I realized that I had not started the recording yet. So we have actually already eaten a Trinidad perfume pepper. Mmm, delicious. Reece, remember back to the Trinidad perfume pepper? What was your opinion on that one?
It's sweet. Tastes a lot like a bell pepper. Really good flavor. Not hot at all. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it had a kind of a unique sweet flavor to it.
Right? Yeah, so that was a nice pepper to begin with. And then from there, Reece and I decided to eat a delicious Serrano pepper, which of course many of you are familiar with. It's hotter than a jalapeno. And Reece, just give us a quick review of that Serrano pepper, if you would, sir.
Yeah, I eat them all the time. They're delicious. Super common in Mexican cuisine, Asian cuisine too. Actually, they use a lot of serranos, but they can zing you sometimes. They're hotter than a jalapeno, but that one was, I would say, pretty mild. It was really tasty. They have a great flavor as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now, of course, again, I apologize to the listeners. We missed a little bit of a front end of our conversation, but Reece actually turned me on to a really good idea as far as using the serrano peppers, cutting them in half like you would a jalapeno, and stuffing a little cheese in there and baking them in the oven. And what was unique that I had never heard done before is you mentioned throwing some blue cheese in there.
Yeah, blue cheese, pepper jack, queso fresco, any of those work really well. And we do them on the barbecue or in the oven. And they're
Ooh,
really
nice.
good. And then even for people who aren't hotheads, the cheese mellows out the heat a little bit.
Nice. That's true. It always does. And you know, the funny thing I find, especially when you're working with serranos and jalapenos, is you got that variable heat, like we were mentioning earlier. And so you cut them in half, and you're like, okay, oh man, that one was perfect. And then the next one was like, oh, that was sweet, that was mellow. And then,
Yeah.
one'll get you just like that.
Yeah, I've had serranos that have had me in tears before, but thankfully that one was relatively mild.
Yeah, that one was pretty mild. Again, grown by my neighbor Tony, so some good stuff there. Now, when we realized that we wanted to hit record, and I like to put it that way, be clear about this. When I realized that I needed to hit record, um, Reese and I had just eaten one of these delicious little Koyana peppers, and the Koyana pepper, if you remember some from some of the other hothead shows, has really been one of the favorite peppers of most of the people that I've sent these peppers out to this year. You know, gosh, I don't even know the number. I think it's close to 20 people that have received pepper packages. I think it might even be more than that at this point. I kind of lose track. But boy, a lot of people out in the community trying out these peppers, and 100% everybody has loved these Koyana peppers. Reece and I, since we're in for this, we're in this to show you guys that we can hang. We're not going to talk about any more hot peppers, even though we've already eaten a Koyana. They're little. We're going to pick up there. We're going to eat a second Koyana and give you a second reaction. Let's do this, Reece.
That one was hotter than the first one.
Yeah.
It's good though. It has a really good flavor. I think it would be awesome in like a soup,
Ooh, yeah, yeah. That
like a
smoky
pho
flavor
type.
would come out in some soup, huh?
Yeah. And then they're little too, so you just chop off the end, fire them in there, and you just eat them whole as you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be good. I hadn't even considered these ones for a soup, but you're right. Yeah, that smoky flavor would be nice. Where I've been enjoying these ones is chopping them up real fine and throwing them into my eggs because again, it gets that smoky spiciness and I love to eat eggs in the morning, but I actually can't stand eggs unless they have something spicy on them.
Yeah.
Tabasco, ground up hot peppers, or preferably hot peppers cooked right into them. You the same way on that one, Reece?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had eggs without putting at least Cholula or
Mm.
something, pico
Oh yeah.
pico, Tabasco. I usually put a jalapeno or a habanero or something like that in my eggs.
Ooh, a habanero. Now habaneros are a serious pepper. These little Koyanas we just ate, running around 50,000 Scovilles, and those habaneros are often running closer to 90 to 100,000 Scoville. So a habanero can be quite a spicy pepper. Now this year, I actually got some red Savina habaneros, which were, I'm used to eating habaneros, but these things were like 300,000 Scovilles. I put one of them in some salsa, and that salsa was so hot, I was like taking a bite and like, it's good. I want more, but so that's how it went with me.
Yeah,
How are you
we
doing so far, Reece? Are you still surviving even though we had to double up on the Koyanas?
yeah, I already started sweating, but like I was saying, capsaicin makes me sweat like the top of my head and then my face turns flush. So maybe it'll cool me down a little bit, but that's normal. But we use habanero and mango salsa, and then
Ooh.
my girlfriend makes a really good salad that's like radishes,
Mm.
mango, a bunch of greens, and then you throw some fruit in there in addition to the mango with the habanero,
Mm-hmm.
and it's delicious, like shaved carrots,
Oh,
and it's got this weird sweet spicy flavor. It's so good.
that does sound good. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah,
sounds delicious. It's funny. I had never tried spicy peppers in a salad, but
it's good.
last year at the SoCal Open, we went to this Mexican restaurant, and as you know, I had the Carolina Reapers with me. So we go to this restaurant, and while I'm there, the manager, they had just opened up an outdoor seating area, so they were like, "Oh yeah, come all you guys," because there was a bunch of us gamers, and we all went. Alex, a bunch of people went there, and she's like, "Set us up outside." And I said, "Hey, I really appreciate the hospitality. Here are some really hot peppers that I've grown this year. Please be careful with these things." And it was funny. She goes, "Sir, we are a Mexican restaurant. I think we can handle the hot peppers."
Like,
So that
all
was pretty
right,
funny. No doubt. So that was some good stuff. And so anyway, so those Carolina Reapers, they're hot.
those
They
are
are hot.
real hot.
And we're not going to do anything as hot as that today. We're going to kind of stay down in the mellow thing. I wanted to start things off last year. I'd never tried hot peppers. A lot of people hadn't. Now we've all tried them. We know what's going on up at the top. And now we're playing around in the middle here. So moving up a little bit more into the middle, as it were, I think the next thing that we wanted to try
Was
were
it the weary weary?
the weirdy peppers. Now, the weirdy pepper is a very special pepper, okay? These are sometimes known as bird peppers. These are actually the original peppers. Like, this is as close as exists today as the original plant that was the first pepper species. And one of the interesting things about the weirdy bird pepper is the plant only grows if the pepper is eaten by a bird and the bird poops out the seed. So the seeds have to be digested by a bird before the plant will actually grow. So because of that, you often only find them like growing wild. Like if you're out in Texas or various places like that, Mexico, you can see these plants growing wild, but you will very rarely find them in cultivation in somebody's yard, and you will never find them in the store. So I find that they were a little bit of a treat this year. And without further ado, Reece, let's go ahead and try one of these little weirdy bird peppers.
Oh, there's that explosion of juice you were talking about.
Right? Very juicy pepper. They pop in your mouth.
Oh, that was a hot one.
Yes.
Yep, that was like a little explosion of lava in your mouth.
Yes, it is. This is the beginning of the no bologna peppers, the weirdy. And I think you hit it on the nail on the head. You bite into them, they're super juicy. You get this like fruit gusher explosion of juice in your mouth, and then
Yeah. And like I was telling you, that Carolina Reaper you gave me last year,
yeah.
I put half of it into a pot of spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
I was like audibly crying out as I was trying to finish it.
Wow.
Just a half
Just to
in
have
a big bowl of spaghetti, and I finished it, but my shirt was soaking wet. I was brutally hot.
yeah,
Woo!
those were rough. You know, last year I did a video, had myself, Phil Tracy, like 5 or 6 other Warhammer 40K guys over my house, and we started off with the Carolina Reaper, and then we ate a Trinidad Scorpion and the chocolate bootlaw. And I tell you what, we ate that Reaper, and we were like, oh man, that's hot. But then we moved on to the Scorpion, and we were longing for the days when all it was the Reaper hot. So it's always that reminder that there is definitely a next level when it comes to this stuff. Ah, woo.
The back of my throat feels like there's an ice pick stabbing it.
Ah. Yeah, these for me the weary when the juice hit, it kind of shot sideways, and so like the whole edge of my tongue feels like somebody is kind of just taking a Bic lighter and flicking it along the edge of my tongue right now.
Yeah, for me it's on the obviously the tongue, but the back of the throat. I'm like every time I take a breath, I feel like I'm a dragon breathing fire.
Oh, nice. Kind of opening you up. So I'm gonna take my first bail out here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a tomato. I'm gonna rub it in this salt. Okay. That's all you got to do sometimes. You just gotta take the edge off of that burn. Woo! I'm sweating. My forehead's sweating. My mustache is actually soaked right now. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, top of your head, sweating. I got the short hair, but if you could see it, there's like mist spraying off my head as I do this.
Yeah, I am a toasty boy right now.
Yeah. And it's funny. I actually am a big fan of little tiny peppers like this because they can pack the heat, right? Like there is no doubt that little pepper packs the heat. But the size tends to limit the effect. 2 years ago now, actually, I grew these rat turd peppers. And they were the size of a rat turd, little teeny tiny peppers, hotter than these weary wearies. And you'd eat one and you'd bite into it and you'd get this like 2-inch little circle of heat, one spot in your mouth that would like burn for 10 minutes and then go away. And they were just the most delightful peppers. And, oh, excuse me. That's one of the other things that I've kind of learned about peppers this year is it's not just the capsaicin, it is the other terpenes and their secondary chemicals that are existing alongside it that affect how quickly it burns you, how long that burn stings, and sort of some of the other characteristics of how the capsaicin can attach to your nerve ending and how it sits there and what it does while it's there. So to me, that's the biggest fascination that I'm learning with such variety is there's hot, and then there's peppers that engage in chemical warfare.
Yeah, the ones that linger.
Yeah. So how you doing off that weary? Was that is that still burning your face a little bit? I know my tongue is still all kinds of tingle off of that.
Yeah, I feel it, but the worst of it has passed.
The worst of it is past, huh? You're surviving. Okay, Reece, here's the turning point, okay? So this is where lesser men get off the ladder. They say, I can't hang, that's it. Somebody else has to change the light bulb for me. If you get off the ladder now, it's no problem. We'll just mock you forever. I mean, no respect lost to the community or anything like that. But this right here with the weirdy pepper, that was as hot as most of the people who I've sent pepper packs to. That's as much heat as they've been given, right? Right in that 150,000, maybe 200,000 Scoville range, right in there. But to push beyond that is to really kind of hit the upper edges of some of the peppers, the most recent shipments I've sent to people with some of the Fatalii, the Snow Whites, the Nagamorichi, the Viper, and of course, the delicious, delicious Scotch bonnet. Now, Reece picked the Scotch bonnet for the heat level. He said he had never tried one before. In fact, Reece, tell me, you said you'd never even heard of the Scotch bonnet. Is that correct?
No, I'm a bit of a pepper guy. I'm not, you know way more than I do, but I'd actually never heard of it before.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, so this is one of the more famous pepper styles, the Scotch bonnet, and this one doesn't have much of a bonnet shape. Actually, I got my pepper Tupperware you see in the corner there in the camera.
This thing's a monster.
But there you go. There's one with a nice bonnet shape to it. So we'll go ahead and I'll match Reece with a nice fat bonnet. And
I'm not gonna eat, are we gonna eat the whole thing, or are we just gonna take a bite?
We're just gonna take a bite. Like, this whole thing might be dangerous. Now this said, I took half of a Scotch bonnet and chopped it up into my eggs this morning.
Right.
Okay, so this is manageable, but this is definitely going to be that next heat level. This should be sitting around 300,000, maybe up to 350,000 Scovilles. And you know what you say? The more you talk about it, the more chance there is to wimp out. So Reece, without further ado, let's Scotch bonnet. Okay. First off, that's a lot of pepper mass, and it takes some chewing.
No, I did my best. I took about half of it, but they're just really physically big.
Yeah, that's a big ass pepper. Woo! Initial reaction.
It's like habanero heat.
Yeah?
It's that difference. The heat from a habanero is significantly different than a jalapeno or a serrano. It's it's hard to describe. It's like a piercing heat. It's hard for me to describe the difference, but it's such a noticeable difference in the way it heats up your mouth. And it tends to last a significantly longer period of time.
That's for sure. Plus, like I said, I found that with some of these bigger peppers, they're big enough that you're chewing on it for a minute. And just that chewing, you get it between your teeth, jam down in your gums.
The oil gets all over your mouth, yeah.
So, Scotch bonnet for me. As soon as I bite into it, it's a fairly juicy pepper, very sweet. I got an immediate sweet juice kind of flowed through my mouth, and seconds after that, a smoky heat kind of rose up into my sinuses. There was this smoky rush, and then the heat came in and flavor ended. And now I'm in a heat zone. I got sweat running on my face, running down my mustache.
Yeah, I'm dripping. Sweat's dripping down the back of my head. That's pretty damn hot.
That is a pretty damn hot pepper. Woo! So Scotch bonnets,
they actually have a nice flavor to them, though.
I was gonna say, actually do have that really good smokiness and that good sweetness. So when you cook with these ones, these are ones that add a lot to your cooking. Now, much like with my eggs this morning, I made 5 eggs, right? That was 2.5 for me, 2.5 for the dog. For what it's worth, I made the mistake of making scrambled eggs for my dog over the summer. I made extra eggs when I made eggs. And so now when I start cracking eggs, the dog pretty much assumes that he's going to get some eggs. So it's it's the best behavior. He sits there perfectly while I'm cooking. I go to eat. He actually put himself in the crate while I was eating. I didn't want to do anything to mess up. As soon as I finished eating, I went and gave him his own portion in his bowl. He loved it. Now, that said, you might say, John, did you say you gave your dog Scotch bonnet eggs? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I have found that dogs love spicy food. You have to introduce them to it slowly. Don't give your dog a 7-pot brain strain the first time, but maybe a little bite off of something spicy here and there, see how they get to it. They have to get used to it, but after that, they love it. And there's nothing funnier than watching a dog trying to deal with his hot tongue. How
Yeah,
about you, Reece?
my cats like spicy meat as well, but I spoil the crap out of them. So whenever I have something, they'll give me they pop up with their head above like this above the table on the
Oh
chair.
yeah.
Like, can you? When do I get some? So I always cave in, and they really like spicy sausage and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, I have a old cat myself. Miss Vivi is 13 years old, but she goes out in the garden and hangs out with me and stuff like that. But at her age, we don't vary her diet very much anymore. It's actually pretty funny because the cat, what she'll do is she goes out in the yard. I have wild catnip growing, so she'll basically just go out and chomp on the wild catnip a little bit, and then just kind of
Yeah.
flop down on the thing. So it's pretty good. In fact, I'm sorry about that. If I was thinking when I sent you the hot peppers, I should have sent you a big bundle of catnip because oddly enough, I've been growing catnip for several years and have a really good strain of catnip going. And I know that sounds funny, but I really like my cat, and she really likes the catnip. So I've put effort into her enjoyment, and any friends that I've shared it with, I've had two reactions: either their cat loved it, or their cat was too catnipped and did too much weird stuff, and they said, "Don't give it to me ever again." How about you? So you got two kittens nowadays, right?
Yeah, yeah. Panda and Sabine, rescue cats. One of them is a Siamese though, which is I don't understand how she was in the um, uh, at the shelter because she's a beautiful cat.
Oh yeah, I've seen the pictures on Facebook. Both of your cats are just super cute, adorable.
Yeah, they're super duper fun. We got them during quarantine because I've always grown up with cats
Okay.
and cats and dogs, and we're in an apartment right now, so we didn't want to get a dog.
Right.
So we got the one cat, and then she didn't like it when we left. So then we got another cat, so they have a friend,
Good.
and they're like best buddies.
That's
Like
awesome.
yeah, it's so much fun. They chase each other around, and they always get on my hobby desk and knock my models off the table, but I don't
Yeah,
care because they're cute.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, but you don't even care. It's a cat, right? What
yeah,
do you expect? And,
well
and it
we're,
sounds
we're
like you did the perfect thing too, because a lot of times people will get a cat and then they wait too long to get the second cat,
yeah,
and then there's territorial and dominance issues. But when you bring them both into the environment together, they almost always are going to get along and,
yeah.
and be fine.
We had read that if you do it like when they're kittens and then like don't wait too long, like before they get really settled in, they'll bond, and that's exactly what happened. So they never fight, or they're just like they just chase each other around the house. It's really fun.
Oh, that is fun. That is fun.
Um,
It's interesting. Now, unfortunately, Vivi is our last cat. Our other cat, Kira, was about a year older, and he passed last year, unfortunately. But he was a rescue cat as well, and not the kind of rescue cat you might think, though. My sons came home one day, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, we rescued this cat." I'm like, "Oh, okay, awesome." And they're like, "Oh, can we keep it?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I guess that's fine." And he was already in a cat carrier too. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." We get the cat in, do all our stuff, tool up for cats and everything. Great cat. Later, I'm talking like 10 years later, I'm talking with my kids, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I remember when you rescued. What was the story in that?" Well, they had told me that they found him in a field, which I guess was what happened, except the cat carrier was actually hanging from a high tension power pole, and my kids climbed a power pole to rescue this cat carrier. I'm like, "You did what?" I can see why you didn't tell me that story back then.
yeah, that's super dangerous.
Super dangerous. Kids, right? So that
Yeah,
was our rescue cat. So how you
it's a
doing on
literal
the
rescue.
yeah, the true rescue. Luckily that was the only rescue that day too. So how you doing on the heat levels there, Reece? Is your mouth recovering? Are you back to your zen, or are you still melting on me over there?
Oh, I'm still sweating like a dog, but I have recovered from that last one.
Right? And so that's a nice one. Like that's what I like about this Scotch bonnet is it does have a high heat, but I have found like maybe a 5 to 7 minute burn on that one, and then it pops off. And if you cook with it, that rate even goes down further. And that's, again, why I find it's like a really nice one for cooking right there. And you should have another one at least there. And hopefully I gave you a few of each pepper.
Yeah.
To kind of get there. Now, I did try to give you some guidance on the outside of those packages with the Scoville rating. And it's funny, like people are always telling me, they're like, oh, John, you should just like send it to people with no labels. Yeah, see, like that.
The skull and crossbones. The skull and crossbones gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on with that one.
It was pretty clear. Okay, I wanted to make sure that you knew what was going on with that. And so that's the thing is I'm not about tricking people. This is all about being upfront. This is what the heat level is. This is what we're going to get into, and this is what we're going to experience and enjoy. Okay, so here we are. We have gone through 5 peppers so far, right? What do you think, Reece? Are you willing to step up a little bit, a lot? Are you done? Where are we on your ladder of pain right now, my friend?
All right. Well, corn disfavors the cowardly. So
very nice.
We can do one more. We can be bold. And,
okay. So you don't necessarily have to take on the 7-pot brain strain. You could. That would be a sort of apex experience. One step down from there, which actually might be a little more enjoyable, is the Naga Moriche. You see the Naga Moriche there?
1.5 million Scovilles. Oh boy.
So this is the Naga Moriche, otherwise known as the Naga Viper or the Cobra Viper from India. And this is a hot pepper. Okay, so whereas that Scotch bonnet that we just ate was around 350,000 Scovilles or so, and mind you, that 7-pot brain strain that you just lifted up could be upwards of 2 to 3 million Scovilles. In fact, they call it the 7-pot because one pepper is supposed to make 7 pots of soup. So I only sent you one of those. Be careful when you approach it. But down in the still survivable range is the Naga Viper, the Naga Moriche. Reece, I say that who's with me? Corn fears cowards. Let's do this, my friend. We're going to finish off this episode of Fireheads by burning our face off. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me while I take a minute to compensate for what's going on in my mouth. Okay. So. That's hot. Reece, can you talk? What's going on in your mouth?
That is really, really hot. Oh.
Quick, huh? Like, this is not like the other ones. As soon as you bite this, that heat fucking dives into your face.
Oh my God.
My entire tongue, the entire roof of my mouth, and I would call it the orifice of my throat going into my throat feels like a circle of fire.
It's in my nose.
Oh, fuck. Spit there.
It's getting worse. Time goes by.
Same here. It's still burning hotter. What's that in the back of your throat? Your uvula? My uvula is on fire.
Oh. Witness me, corn.
1.5 million Scovilles. Naga Viper, Naga Moriche.
Fun fact, you can die from too much capsaicin, but it's way more than you can get in a single pepper.
This is true. I was reading that the other day, that it can become toxic at a certain level. Not the heat that kills you.
It becomes a neurotoxin.
Overdose.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to do the pepper, tomato and salt.
If anybody's wondering, that coffee has milk in it. That's why I've been sipping it, because that helps to diet down a little bit.
Yeah. Whew.
Holy cow, that is hot.
My nose is running. My eyes are tearing. My head is sweating. There's a physical pain in my mouth.
Epi shot?
Uh,
EpiPen?
Donna's offering me an EpiPen.
My heart rate's pushing 100 right now.
Oh, let's see.
Don's ears are turning purple.
My ears are purple.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, man. Oh.
Fun fact, capsaicin is a anti-cancer, what do you call it?
Antioxidant?
Yeah, that's it, an antioxidant.
Are you going to be sick?
Oh, good
I am
Lord.
not going to be sick, but I am drooling like a monkey. Ah,
Oh,
okay.
I can't you believe you do this on a regular basis. This is wrong.
Right?
You don't need an EpiPen?
Neither can I. And you got to be careful blowing your nose like I just did. I've had hot saliva go up from my throat when I blow my nose and come through my sinuses. And all of a sudden my sinuses are on fire. And if you thought it was something to have your mouth on fire,
Oh, Lord.
when your nose is on fire or the little tear ducts between your sinuses and your eyes, I've gotten pepper juice in there. Crazy places to burn. Inside of your ears.
Oh, it's starting to go away a little bit.
A little more under control, huh? Whew. Still a little more manageable, like you said, but I still feel like spikes in places in my mouth. Literal spikes, like someone's taking an X-Acto knife and going, kind of like getting a tattoo. Many people have had a tattoo. I got tattoos. I think you got some tattoos, huh, Reece?
I'd way rather get a tattoo than eat one of those again.
Whew. Okay, now that we can talk, give me your ride on that one. What was that like for you?
My toes are tingling
Yeah.
right now. I think that explains that. I think that should give you the whole explanation.
That's it. From
Yeah,
your
it's
head
like
to
if
your
you
toe.
put like a hot piece of metal in your mouth.
Oh, yeah, almost like shavings of hot metal. Like you took and did like a metal grinder, and the little metal sparks were landing in your mouth as you're taking that grinder. I think that would be pretty close to this experience.
Yeah. My skin is tingling.
Yeah, I am sweating like crazy. Whew.
Oh.
My mouth is not cooling down. Try a little shot of whiskey here. Oh, I can get it.
I always find alcohol makes my mouth burn worse when I got the.
Is that so?
Beer is okay, but liquor is always rough for me. Whew.
Cleans it out a little bit. I think that's part of it is when you start to cool the burn is getting the excess oils out of your mouth so that once whatever is kind of in the nerve pops free, so that's when the heat goes away, there's not another one to go and take its place.
Yeah, that was brutal. You ate more of yours than I did. I only ate about half of it.
Yeah, well, not ready to wimp out here, you know.
Yeah, you win. I ate about half mine.
Well, okay. Mr. Reece Robbins, that was an amazing ride, sir. I genuinely appreciate you joining me for this episode of Hot Heads today. You are the man. So far, you hold the record. Nobody has climbed up to the Nagamorich with me. 1.5 million Scovilles, an amazing hot pepper. We went through 6 peppers today. The Trinidad perfume, the Serrano, the Koyana, the Weirdy, the Scotch bonnet, which believe me was plenty hot for most people. And finally, the Nagamorichi. Reece, how was it for you, sir?
It was fun. And if anybody beats my record, let me know and we'll do that brain scrambler.
That's right. That'll be the tiebreaker. Awesome.
Oh, don't
Hey,
even
sir,
worry.
I'm going to let you go. I'm going to head off on my own way. I just got a little bit of a delivery here. I'm excited to see what's in that special box. And thank you very much for all you do, Reece Robbins. I hope to see you at the LVO. But if I don't, I will see you the next time something happens, because whatever you're doing, I want to be there. The gaming, what you bring to this community, it's what keeps me excited. It's what keeps me going. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Been a pleasure.
It has been.